Hi crafters, welcome to ScrapbookPal.com. This is Raquel from Paints and Glitter, and today I am here with some beautiful items from Hero Arts. The collection is called Spring Meadow, and it has more than one die set. It also has transfers and other stamps and dies that you may want to take a peek at. But today I'm going to be working with Layered Lilac, and I am so excited and thrilled to be able to work with this because the area in which I live is actually very well known for a very famous lilac festival that's held annually. So I was so happy to be able to have this on hand. And by the way, this is a 100% scale of what the lilac will look like once you have assembled it with these dies. And I think that's a really beautiful, substantial size. But here are all of the dies, so you get to see how they come, and it makes it a whole lot easier to assemble a flower that has so many different little petals when the plate is all together like this. So I'm really happy that that's the way it's been designed with a lot of care. And with this, you can pick up this 6x6 rubber stamp. This is called Birdsong Script. If you do read it, you'll notice how lovely that is. And I really love the fact that it is a rubber stamp because you know it's going to last you ages if you pick that up. And it's very versatile to have this type of stamp on hand. Along with these items, I'm going to be using these Copics, and I wanted to mention that there are all of the different colors of Copics that you can pick up at ScrapbookPal, so that's really wonderful, especially if you struggle maybe with color theory. Don't forget that there is a blog, and I will have a post dedicated to this, but you can take a peek at the rest of the design team and all of the different ways that you can learn to use the supplies that you can pick up. And also, the fact that they have the trios is really helpful because at least you get 3 colors in the same family, and then that way at least you know right off the bat that they're all going to work really nicely together. So I do invite you to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so, and also check the links below for any items you may want to pick up, and also for the blog post if you'd like to take a peek at further instructions. I've gathered some other supplies here. I wanted to let you know that, of course, you can use not only the Copics, but you can use different inks. And here I have some Distress Oxides. And I recently used these in another project, but I really love that color combination. And it just so happens that Lisa Horton has a dye pigment ink that's an interference ink. And this is similar to the Distress Oxides, but this is called Lavender Fields. But this is a shimmer ink, unlike the Oxides, which have a chalk finish. So I thought I should point that out to you. I also have some clear embossing powder from Fawn, and this is all available, by the way, at ScrapbookPal. But I'll be using that with the script stamp. And then I cut everything out of white cardstock, and I have some brushes here. So what I'm going to do is speed up the video as I color, and then I'll narrate it so that way you get to see how everything works as I color. So starting here, what I'm doing is loading a soft bristle brush with the Distress Oxide ink in Bundled Sage. As you can tell, I'm applying this on the center of the solid bloom here in a circular manner and very lightly. You can always revisit any of the papers. But what I'm going to do is use this color as if it were a highlight on that one bloom. And then I'm going to use it to saturate all of the leaves and the little stems and also the little ribs that you can add to the center of the leaves. So here I'm applying this. Now remember, the paper's 300 GSM white cardstock, and it's nice and substantial, and I do recommend it because of those little stems being quite delicate. But the next color is going to be Dusty Concord, and in this case I'm going in with a larger soft bristle brush and applying the color on the outer perimeter of this large bloom. This is going to be the darkest of the colors that I will use, and I'm going to blend it out on all of the other pieces as you see here. And now I'm going to start coloring the second layer of the bloom with a smaller brush using Dusty Concord, and I'm focusing more on the center of this bloom and revisiting certain little areas to darken it a little bit more here and there. and finishing that off with a small brush as well. But this time I'm using worn lipstick only toward the right hand side of the bloom. I'm doing this on purpose because what I'm doing is creating dimension with color and also using the pink as if it were a highlight. And I'm also going to just tap on a little bit of that leftover pink onto some of the smaller little flowers, not all. And to finish the coloring on the little blooms that will layer on top, I'm starting off with the lightest of the 3 Copics, and I'm coloring the smallest of the little flowers with this color. This is V20, and it's a barely there color. It's called Wisteria. Then with the second color in the Copic trio, which is the mid-tone, I'm revisiting those tiny little blooms a little bit here and there, but now I'm moving over to the medium-sized ones and also the larger ones that are already colored with a little bit of that worn lipstick, but I'm purposely not coloring the entirety of the blooms. I'm doing the same thing with the second layer, and as you see, I'm just scattering the color about here and there, creating a little bit of visual dimension by doing so, and also visiting the outer layer here and there and just scattering that color onto the solid piece as well. And this is not going to react as if it were a water-based medium because, again, Copics are alcohol-based. So this is the third color of the Copics. This is the darkest one. It's V25, and I'm purposely being very loose in the coloring here, as you can see, just touching the papers here and there. And lastly, for the coloring of the flower, what I'm going to do is take a Distress watercolor pencil. I'm loading a brush with water and using it as if it were a toothbrush method here, and just splattering that color against the background. This is going to create a watercolor-like effect. I really love doing this when I make flowers. And what I'm doing here is using both that dark soot and also, I believe this one's called peeled paint, but I'll have all of the colors listed, of course, in the description and also on the blog. So I'm splattering it in the same fashion. So what you do is you load the brush with the water, brush the crayon to pick up the color as you see there, and then you press that against your finger, and that way you get all of the splatters exactly where you want. And you can revisit with as many colors as you like, of course. But now we're going to move on to what will be the matting layer that we're going to stamp using the 6x6 stamp. I've placed that onto my platform. I'm using a 4.5 by 5.25 piece of 300 GSM white card, and with Versamark ink, which is clear, I'm only targeting certain little places of that stamp. I'm not going to stamp the entirety of that sentiment, and pressing that onto my paper, I'll transfer that clear ink and then top it off with the clear embossing powder, which I then can heat set. So all I have to do is sprinkle that right on top and then remove the excess and use my heated tool. And with this, that embossing powder is essentially going to melt onto the ink. The next thing that I'm going to do is apply this gray ink, it's called licorice, onto the background with this tool here. So what I'm doing is just loading the ink onto the brayer, as you can tell, and then applying that ink in a cross-hatch fashion. So it's like you're creating little X's on the paper. And what you'll note right away is that now you can really see the script showing up because you're creating a dark background with that ink. And there I was showing you can do it left-handed or right-handed. But the second color I'm applying is milled lavender, and that's a really light lavender as well. And then with a baby wipe, I'm removing any excess that may have landed on top of the script so that it really shows up. And now I'm going back with 2 distress crayons, both a dark one and a light one. And those are Picket Fence and Black Soot. and I'm doing the same method of splattering to finish that off. Now I can go ahead and apply these layers onto my card, which is a 4 1/4 by 5.5 top folding white card base with all of the matting layers, starting with that dark purple and then a white layer. And then I did cut down the one that has that script stamped onto it. I really love the results of all of those colors, and it's going to give me a nice backdrop to the bloom. Now, the leaves have these little ribs on there. You can see I already adhered 2 of them. And all you have to do is place a little drop of adhesive behind it and then position it with the stem first, and then work your way onto the leaf with all of those little portions. So I wanted to point out that while you're applying this, you can manipulate the paper with your fingers, as I'm doing here, while the adhesive is still wet. And that's really going to help to give this a little bit more shape and dimension. And there you see the result of that. And of course, starting off with really good paper works out best. So here we can start layering the bloom. The die will actually emboss right into that paper, or deboss lines, I should say. So that way you have a guide. And if you would like to, as I've done here, you can take advantage of 3D foam squares, position them scattered about onto that bloom, and start off with the larger of the little flowers that you've die cut. This is going to help to cover more real estate, if you will, onto that flower. And then just scatter about little drops of adhesive to apply the remaining flowers. Now, I did cut quite a few of these on purpose. I wanted a really full bloom. But as you can see there, all you have to do is start filling in the little spaces. And lastly, what I did was that I applied the smallest of all of them in the little spaces left with a little jewel picker. This made it a whole lot easier to be able to pick up those small pieces of paper and then apply them right on top of that bloom. And now all I have to do is group all of these so that I create my beautiful lilac here. So I'm applying it in a diagonal fashion there. I'm pretty much copying what was on the packaging because it does help with the alignment of the different pieces of this flower. But the one thing I wanted to note was that I wanted the leaves, of course, to be behind that center stem. The way that I was able to do that is to just apply a little bit of adhesive there, and I'm trying to be really careful because I don't want the water in the adhesive to react with the ink in the background. But I'm using a jewel picker to lift up that paper and also remove any excess adhesive, but I'm guiding myself there by using that tool and then placing the leaves with those little stems right behind the center one. So I just wanted to point that out. It'll look really nice if you do it that way. That way it looks cohesive and it'll all look like just one bloom rather than scattered leaves. And here I'm applying the second one. And as you see there, I'm applying that one close to the first and making sure that it follows that same line. And then lastly, I'll apply the third leaf here. Again, not applying too much adhesive. You really don't need a whole lot. But what I'm trying to do is to make sure that there's a little bit of visual movement here with this flower. And in order to keep those little leaves looking like they're popping out of the background, I added just a few more of those little adhesive squares. And that was as easy as that. I wanted to mention that this die set does include the little centers of all of the blooms in this die here. So you can cut them all out using that should you want to, and in any color that you choose. What I'm going to do is actually use a Nouveau drop, but you can see that there's so many different little sizes there, individual ones as well as the groupings. And what I'm going to do is use Sweet Lilac, and this is a crystal drop. And I'm going to just target the centers of those little blooms with that color. It's going to add a little bit of shine, but it's not going to distract too much from the actual little flowers. But what's really neat about this is that if you have used water reactive ink, because there's water in this medium, then that'll also change the look of the flower. Now, of course, I used a combination of Oxide ink and Copic markers, so this will be quite saturated still. I don't think it's going to take anything away from the color. And you can use as many or as little as you like and the sizes that you like. But this will dry as a dome shape. That's the other benefit of this, is that you then get that little pearl-like finish. It's not pearlescent, but you do get that little bit of that little pearl shape. So if that's attractive to you, then this is a good and easy way to go about it without having to cut yet more papers. But of course, you do have the benefit of that with the die set. And here I like to add a little bit of more color and shine to the leaves. And you can do the same with the background and in other colors should you choose to. I can add a few dots here just as if they were little pearls and let those take that rounded shape. Just like that. And do some large ones over here as well. So delicate and pretty. I love the effect of that texture. So this completes my project. I've absolutely loved working with these items. I think they're so much fun. Don't forget that you will find all of the supplies listed, not only in this video, but also in the blog post that I'll have for you. So be sure to follow and subscribe for more ideas, and I hope that you can be inspired and be blessed. Thank you so much for watching.